All right, before I start this, we're just gonna do a quick trailer reaction. It's going to be to the new Quantumania trailer. Um, Big time Marvel fan here. Recently retired from the front lines. I saw Black Panther in every single release up until Black Panther 2. So Black Panther all the way to Black Panther 2 opening weekend. Bought tickets for every single one they're showing multiple weeks in advance. Um, but yeah, I've seen every Marvel movie, every Marvel property outside of She-Hulk, and then like half of Miss Marvel and like the last episode of Hawkeye. So all in, um, I've seen a lot of Marvel stuff, and yeah, those are my credentials. So with that being said, now that we get that out of the way, let's see what's up.
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. But you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
It can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much. He can give us a second chance.
Let me make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need, or everything you call a life will end.
This is all my fault.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
You thought you could win.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
So I will give my first initial thoughts on that trailer. Um,
Him.
Or
Hold on one second here. I'll leave it paused right there. The actor who plays Kang is I forget his name. I've seen him in quite a few movies at this point, but he'd be like probably the main draw for me to see the movie outside of Paul Rudd. And that's honestly giving Paul Rudd probably too much credit. As much as I like Paul Rudd, I think he's a little bit more of like a comedic relief character. I think that's where he's best suited, at least given them like. I think he's good in movies where he's a leading man, but Marvel doesn't really write him as a leading man as well as other movies or other productions have. So my initial thoughts are that it looks pretty good. Um, like I said though at the beginning of the trailer or before it started, this will. I'm not planning on seeing this opening weekend. I think I'm gonna kind of like boycott Marvel up until I will go see the new Avengers for Kang Dynasty, the Avengers Kang Dynasty or Avengers Kang Dynasty. I will go see that in movie theaters, most likely opening weekend, because to me that's like put your bull crap aside and go. You go for the greater good, and so yeah, I think it looks really good. For what it is, but I don't think it looks any better necessarily than the trailer for Wakanda Forever looked. I don't think it looks like any better of a trailer than Multiverse of Madness looked. I don't think it looked any better necessarily even than it. Black Widow looked a little CGI at some point, so it looked better than that. I don't think it looked better than Shang-Chi, or probably right at Shang-Chi level. I thought the Eternals was going to be a huge step up from Shang-Chi, and then that was going to be a step up from Black Widow. Eternals was like worse than. Ugh, it's such a headache. I'm like, I used to like get to compare like my favorite Marvel movies, but now I'm like, which one's the worst? And I'm like, that's what stinks, is that it's like now it's like a race to the bottom where I'm like, okay, well, all these movies were like the worst of the worst, so it's like it looks better than that, but none of these movies I'm like, it doesn't look as good as such and such, because there hasn't been anything that's even worth like mentioning. I will give credit to No Way Home. No Way Home, I think, was good, but you got to remember that that movie was 20 years in the making. They relied a lot on like Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Andrew Garfield, Electro, um, Tobey Maguire, like all those aspects of the movie were what actually made No Way Home better. So it's like if you removed, I mean, you wouldn't even have a movie at that point, but hypothetically, if you removed Doc Ock, Green Goblin, if you removed everyone outside of the established MCU Spider-Man characters, then and somehow try to do a story off of that, I'm sure it would have been a face plant. Or like it very well could have been a face plant. But the reason it worked out so well is because they had all those previous IPs kind of built into it where it worked out really well cinematically. I did want to point out this part right here. Hold on. Now, I forgot his name. This guy right here. It's like Morlog. It's cool they dropped it during the national championship. What's that guy's name? It's like Mojang or Mojang. I'm so okay. Quantumania. Luis. Michael Pena is good. So lucky they got him in there. Okay, Bill Murray we've seen. Humanoid. So you got Sam Jackson. I don't like how they switched to new Cassandra Lang. Looks like they have what's his name from it, which will be interesting. The guy from House of Cards, Corey Stahl. I don't really like to look through this too much because I personally, well, I was gonna say I like to be surprised in the movies, but I guess I'm not even really planning on going. If something comes up, I will tell you guys, and I will talk about it on the channel. But yeah, MODOK, that's the name. So I know people are talking about MODOK being introduced. And MODOK, just for those that might not be aware, that is the floating head guy right here. Perfect. So, let me do this real fast. Sorry about that. Let me Then I'll do a little shaboom, a little shaboom, a little pom pom, and then a what bing, and then a tutum, and then a hello, and then a how you doing? You're like, Ethan, dude, you're just talking gibberish. Let me do this then. Yeah, so this guy that they're putting in there, this MODOK guy, I know that a lot of people were talking about him being like him being kind of this huge character as far as like a supervillain goes. So I don't know if, well, let's just see what it says. Oh, we'll start at the top. Why not? While Ant-Man is best known for being small, the latest trailer of Quantumania, the next installment of the multi-generational interdimensional Ant-Man and Wasp series, that's a mouthful, has just released a new trailer showcasing how Scott Lang, is facing anything he's bigger than he's ever faced before. Metaphorically speaking, seriously, the trailer is all about Jonathan Majors. That's who it is. His Kang and how Paul Rudd Scott gets quantumly entangled with the villain. There's a ton going on, including the first look at MODOK, but just watch. Okay, we've seen the trailer. Goes on to say it wouldn't be Ant-Man Scott if it didn't make some kind of mistake, and in Quantumania, he's clearly going to help Kang in return for getting back the 5 years he lost with his daughter, Cassie, during the blip. Okay. It's an understandable motivation, but given... Not really. I don't know. I don't have kids, so it's hard for me to say, but I would think given, like, what the heck just happened. See, that's one of those things where I'm just like... I understand it's like, hey, you remember when the rat jumped on a button and that's what brought him back and what ultimately saved all the Avengers with Endgame? Like, everything hinged on a rat basically walking over a button. Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is like, okay, that was one time. She made out with a hot dog. That was one time. But this, it's like, okay, that a mouse ran on top of a button that just happened to save the whole MCU. That was one time. But okay, now here we got Scott Lang. Like, did you learn nothing? I don't know. I'll save my thoughts on that because I think that maybe if I had a kid, maybe I'd be willing to roll the dice. I don't know. It's an understandable motivation, but given Kang's name in the title of the upcoming new Avengers movie, it's clearly he doesn't have the best intentions, like conquest of all space-time type intentions. And this trailer just reveals that Kang definitely has the power, resource, and forces just do that. Plus MODOK. While Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been more about introductions and place setting, the official kickoff to Phase 5 is ready to bring the unimaginable scope of the quantum realm and the multiverse together in ways that the heroes of the MCU aren't ready for, but audiences are obviously clamoring for. That was a long sentence. You should never end a sentence with a preposition, but that's alright. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will also bring back Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, good casting choice there. Michelle Pfeiffer as Jeanette Van Dyne, and Peyton Reed, who helmed the first two Ant-Man films. I do like that it's the same director. Let's see what some of these comments say just in this. It's not YouTube. Giving Kang more. It looks like they're giving Kang more screen time and personality than Thanos had. Now that we know Kang's the destination, I definitely think it'll boost interest. Honestly, if this movie's as fun as the other two, nothing more, I'll be okay with it. Even if the comics Ant-Man and Wasp were never that popular, his power set can be more fun or horrible. If you're Eric Grady, the sex pest Ant-Man, he's so often in Teen Book, but the character never really got caught on as a solo. So fun distraction is already good for Ant-Man. One thing that is nice about the MCU is that it doesn't need every movie to be a box office juggernaut. You can afford a few movies that don't perform quite as well, but those movies can still keep the brand alive. And I like reading this because these seem like people who have really put thoughts in their comments. They're not just like, oh, it's lame. Which I'm thinking, like, that's lame. No, it's sure it'll be fine. Yeah, I'm just kind of reading through these comics. It'll be nice to see this. Yeah, well, this is the start of Phase 5, and ultimately, well, I'll go ahead and wrap up the video here. Ultimately, I'm happy that it is getting some direction here. As you can tell, it doesn't look bad, in my opinion. And if something comes up, and I just really feel like if people are clamoring in, you can kind of sense the direction the wind's blowing these days. If you watch YouTube at all, you can tell just from like, it's like with anything. And anyone who's watching this video right now, first of all, I appreciate you watching. Second of all, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say you know which way the wind's blowing. It's like you can tell, maybe not in the first 2 days of a movie release, because there's so many groups and so many people out there who are like, yeah, let's not do a spoiler review until the opening weekend's over. But the second that opening weekend ends, you can kind of get away a very clear direction in which way the wind's blowing. Excuse me, it's getting kind of late here. Jeez. And what I mean by that is that if the movie stinks, people are going to tell you, and you're going to know. And so we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic. If the wind's blowing in a positive direction, everyone's saying this movie looks crazy and how good it is, and then, you know, I'm more than happy to go see it in movies. I won't go see it opening weekend just out of pure principle. I feel like I've been kind of betrayed by the MCU in a way, which is a story for a whole nother video. But I kind of feel like if you take a look at me, like I'm older, I'm not a minority. I guess I am in some cases, but and that's not a slight at any minorities. That's not like a slight at women. It's just as a straight white male, I think that era of MCU storytelling is done for now. And this is all more geared towards like multinational children, multinational women, more of like an inclusive environment. Not that I think there's anything wrong with that. I'm happy they're doing that. I just think that they need to do the storytelling with more detail and with more care. It's like in the Eternals, like I thought it was really cool that there was the first gay couple, I think for the MCU, which was the guy and the black guy. I forget his name. And I don't mean any of this in a, I'm not even gonna say that I'm not racist, because that's just stupid. But anyone who knows me, and even if you don't know me, I hope that you don't think that about me, because I think that's a sad way to live life, honestly. But yeah, I wish that they would dive more into these stories, and I don't like how in these stories they will censor these stories when they release them in China or in Saudi Arabia. I'm like, Disney, if you want to be what you're trying to be and you want to push what you're trying to push, then do it unapologetically. Do it with your heart behind it, where it's not just you're thinking about the money. You're doing it for a reason, and you're doing it for the right reasons and not the wrong ones. The right ones being social justice and inclusion, the wrong ones just being about your bottom line and financials. And you can't, you can have both, but if you're going to, have it for social justice and for inclusion, then you don't cut it out of the movie when you release it over in China and Saudi Arabia and other international markets, because then you're doing it for the money, and it's not, you can't have money at the expense of your social justice and inclusion. And if you do, then it was never about the money to begin with. Show us the money, Lebowski. Show us the money. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Much love. Thank you for watching. I hope it didn't upset anyone. And if I did, I do apologize. That was never my intent, or isn't my intent. But thank you. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. If you watch this on Twitch, let me know I'll watch the replay and see what you guys think over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you taking the time to watch it on YouTube. If you're on any of the other platforms, let me know in their respective comment sections what you think. We'll talk again real soon. Much love. You guys all stay safe out there. It's been your boy EFly, and I'm out. Peace. Shout out to Jamari.